Hey everyone, first I want to thank those of you who have kind of reached out to me and really been a great part of this community. I am incredibly honored and flattered to be here in the She's in Biz Academy. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Heather Prastansky of heatherprastanskycoaching.com. I am a business coach and success coach. I also run Heather Prastansky Media, a digital and social media marketing agency for small to medium-sized businesses. I help small business owners just like you make a splash and increase your sales online. So just to give you a little background about me, I am a former marketing exec who worked for the largest digital marketing agency in Canada. We were the only Facebook partner in North America and one of only 3 Google partners in Canada. And as such, I've had the special privilege of being one of only 40 people in North America outside of their own entity to be trained directly by Facebook, and one of only a few hundred in North America to be trained by the Google AdWords team. Like many of you, I discovered my passion in entrepreneurship, and despite much trial and tribulation, I have built 3 successful businesses online, and I'm working on my 4th. The first was my interior design firm, which I grew to just over 6 figures in 12 months. This is what I call my finding me years. The second was a photography business because isn't it just the rite of passage that anybody with a DSLR camera just has to be a photographer at some point? And I did quite well with that myself. I grew about a $40,000 income in just a few months. And I don't even know why I did that. It wasn't me at all, but I guess it was fun at the time. The third company that I grew was a clothing company, which I just sold my shares off to. It blew up to 7 figures in under 6 months, using a grand total of only $5,000 in Facebook ads. I did it with 2 of my best friends, which feels more like a hangout than work time. And now I'm fully immersed in my forever role, which is my coaching business. I do a lot of success coaching, and I work with entrepreneurs just like you on how to gain visibility, how to increase your sales, how to sell with more gumption, and how to really make your passion project become a reality and make all of your dreams come true. So I'm so glad to meet all of you here, and I hope that we can connect after this presentation so that I can meet more of you and chat on Twitter or Facebook or wherever else. When Maria asked me to come into this and do this presentation, I was thinking a lot about what would bring you the most value. This topic is something that I'm constantly asked about and that I've been hammering with my clients and with my following, and that is culture and community. So I want you to give me a yes, just say it in your room. I know you're just watching this on video. If you found Maria and joined this mastermind community because you've been hanging out on her Facebook page, or because you've been following her on Instagram, or because maybe you found her through her website or her blog posts. Did you find Maria online? So that's what I'm talking about. Community is culture and culture is community. It's about getting people to actually want to follow you, not just hammering them with content in the hopes of getting likes, comments, shares, and clicks. It's about earning their following, earning their engagement, earning your organic reach. So why is this important? For this, we need to look at how Facebook delivers content to your fans' newsfeed. Now, I'm going to be talking mostly about Facebook here. I know there are other experts in the group who will probably have a better grasp on things like Twitter and Instagram and the places that I don't hang out very often. I always say pick 1 or 2 and be really good at that. So for me, I spend a lot of time actually in Facebook groups now, but when I started out my business and the way that I grew my business was really through a Facebook page. And of course, my clothing business that blew up, that was done all 100% through a Facebook page and a landing page on a website. That was it. It was so non-fancy. So when we look at the way that Facebook delivers content to your fans' newsfeed, every time you log on, there are about 1,500 posts competing for a spot in that newsfeed. Of those 1,500, there's room for only about 300 of those posts to actually show up. So right off the bat, you have only a 1 in 20 shot of showing up in somebody's newsfeed. That's not very much, right? So who are you competing with for these 300 or so spots? The average Facebook user has 368 friends. So what makes you think that your fans want to see your posts that are trying to sell them something more than they want to see the posts from their 368 friends? What's that? You don't want to see a post trying to sell you something more than you want to see your childhood best friend selfie? Facebook knows that you don't want to see this either. This is why Facebook had to come up with EdgeRank. If they showed everyone every post, users wouldn't see the things that they care about the most. So if they aren't seeing the things that interest them, users would get bored and they'd leave Facebook for the next big thing. So every time you log on, Facebook makes a decision and about what those 300 posts will be. They look at your activity. What have you been clicking on? What have you been liking, commenting, sharing? What videos have you watched? What are the themes of the pages that you visit? Has your relationship status changed? Have you started talking to an old friend more often? Have you had a heated debate on a particular topic? They compile all of this information in a split second, and then they serve up the content that they feel will most appeal to you based on these activities. So it's kind of like, how do I compete? You want to be the one showing up in their notifications and their @ mentions. You want to be the one that makes people stop in their newsfeed every time. People do this for their friends, but you're not their friend. So you need to feel like their friend. And people aren't friends with businesses. You need to do this through building culture. So now that you know what you have to do, I'm going to give you 5 more tips on how to do it. Are you ready? My first tip is to take a solid look at how often you're posting about your business. Is it less than 18% of your posts? And actually now, I would say even less than 15% or 10% of your content should be about your business. And not so much about your business, but about sales. Or are you constantly promoting your products, your testimonials, your brag posts, features of your services, about events you're going to or presenting at, or posting teasers? Right? I bet if I pulled up 80% of the pages of the members of this community, that these types of posts, those testimonials and brags and features about your services and your events, et cetera, and your products and your services, that this would be well over 18% of your posts. So my second tip is to avoid automation at all costs. So quick check-in with you here. I want you to say to yourself right now, stop the DM. If you've ever followed someone on social media and in response, you've received a very generic automated message saying something like, thanks for the follow, check out my free download. Or, thanks for the follow, you should follow me on Twitter too. Or on Twitter, this user uses TrueTwit validation. Please click this link to confirm that you are not a spam account. True story, I've seen people saying that they are social media experts using this, and it is a disaster. Newsflash for you, you are a human, and people like that about you. And if they wanted to deal with an automated system, they'd call your company's 1-800 number. I get it. Keeping up with social media is really, really, really hard. There's Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, Pinterest, Meerkat, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, Vine, Vimeo, Tumblr, etc. But it's called social media. It's not called your billboard. It's not called the yellow pages, right? The only acceptable automation is a scheduler. Why? Because you're writing the content and picking the time to schedule it. Note I said writing the content, not scheduling the content that the scheduler picks out for you. That is generic and you don't need to use it. You are not a robot. Okay, so now you guys know that I mean serious business, and this is a big one. Stop selling like an intruder. I just used the reference that social media is not a billboard. This may sound humorous because of course it's not, but it's really, really easy to fall into the trap of using your Facebook page as an advertising platform. Why do we get so offended? Why, when Facebook stopped showing our spammy posts organically and started making you pay in order to have your promotional posts reach your fans? If you were using the platform the way that it was intended, to be social and to build culture, we wouldn't care one bit. Instead, though, our marketing nature took over and it ruined everything. We started looking at Facebook as an advertising platform, as a place where we could make money. We weren't wrong. Nearly every single one of your potential clients is hanging out here. It is the perfect place to easily spread your message. The problem, though, is that people aren't here to see it. How many of you are slightly ticked off when you have to watch a TV commercial? Right? You probably got a DVR so that you don't have to watch commercials anymore. We're deciding who we want to market to us. But then, how do we get someone to make the decision if we don't market to them in the first place? This is the classic question. Now we're desperate. I see people copying and pasting their message to hundreds of people through private message, or spamming every single freaking group that they're in with the same message without ever interacting with anyone, which, by the way, is not a great tactic. You'll get people on your list who are freebie seekers. They'll have a million people just like you in their email inbox. And then how do you stand out? Instead, you need to provide them value first. Value could be free information or tips. It could be entertainment. It could be as simple as answering their questions. It might be that you use search.twitter.com and you answer someone's question in the best way to cook pea meal bacon. Not because you're a pig farmer, but because by solving someone's dilemma, you're forming a relationship and giving them value. You're collecting people, not likes. Because it's not the one with the most likes that wins. It's the one with the most connections. All right, let's get personal in tip number 4. So let me ask you a question. Who are you? Seriously. What makes you you? I want you to pause the video here and just think about one thing that you're known for amongst your friends. So for example, if I were thinking I need to do a business shoot and I don't have a clue what to wear, I would maybe go and check out Maria's page. Why? Because she's always on point with her fashion. Fashion is a pinnacle of her brand. Her hair's always styled to the nines. She's dressed in these amazing hats, and her images are freaking amazing. I know that Maria is a business mentor, right? But there's so much more to her brand. She's a fashion maven. She empowers women. She's a collaboration queen. So take a moment here, pause the video, and write this down. What are you? Okay, so if you don't know, or if your answers were too kind of businessy, I want you to start asking your friends why they are your friend. In my group of friends, I'm the entertainment queen. I'm the one who can whip up a cocktail with anything in the fridge. I'm the crazy dog lover. I'm the one with the kind of crazy red hair. I'm always the one with the strongest opinion, but not always the loudest. I'm somebody who listens intently and looks to solve a problem and rationalize because I'm really analytical. These are some of the things that make me me, and I embrace this on social media. If you're the funny one, do a 15-second video of you just sort of spewing random hilarity. Get personal. If you're someone who is emotionally vulnerable, do a long-form post telling your story. If you're a pet lover, share pictures of your pets. Show off the human element of your business. People like the same human elements on social media that they do in real life. Side note, do you like copycats or posers in real life? In case you haven't noticed, there's a lot of the same posts with different faces floating around. And I get it. I'm sure that I've fallen into this. It's hard not to replicate when you see someone spewing their successes online. I want you to know that these stories of people doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in a short period of time never include the full story. I told you earlier that my clothing company on Facebook launched to 7 figures in under 6 months. I would never say to a client, you can do it too, because the truth is, I don't know that you can. I had a ton, years of marketing training under my belt. I had campaigns in past businesses or past clients while I was learning and that did not convert all that well, and I lost hundreds or even thousands of dollars on those. It is not a magic fairy tale. It very rarely is. Don't get caught up and let things get away from you. All right, off my soapbox now. The last culture tip for this presentation is patience and consistency. And really, this should be number one. Because if there's one thing that you're going to get from this presentation, it needs to be this. Let me tell you about my favorite topic after social media, me. I value myself by how successful I am. I was the child who never had to try at school. I was good at sports, I was good at arts. There really wasn't much that I wasn't good at because I wouldn't let it happen. It's a sickness. So when I came across a challenge in business and all of a sudden I have a bad month, I take this really, really hard, like harder than any normal person should. I flat out panic. My analytical nature takes over. I market like crazy and I work around the clock to fill up my calendar. Then I work like crazy filling those obligations for the next half of the month. And guess what? Next month, I do it all over again because I was so busy fulfilling that I stopped marketing again. And then I'm too busy marketing and planning new tactics. My business coach calls this the cycle of reactivity and panic, or crap for short. And the only way to fix this is self-awareness and good old-fashioned doses of patience and consistency. Good things happen when you create a plan and stick with it, even if the results aren't as fast as you'd like. Everyone's always trying to go viral on social media, but most of the greatest success stories are about patience and consistency. My biggest brand crush online is Gary Vaynerchuk. Comment, just shout out the show. If you love Gary too, you'll know what I mean. Gary has written 3 bestsellers on social media, has a $60 million a year wine business, a media biz with 500 plus employees, was an original investor in things like Facebook, Twitter, Uber, Snapchat, and he gets paid $50,000 plus to do keynote speeches. That's pretty sweet, right? He has 1.2 million Twitter followers and over 300,000 Facebook fans. And he pulls in around $5 million a year. To many, his popularity was a recent explosion, as he's had quite a few videos go viral this year. The thing is, though, he started on YouTube in 2006, 9 years ago. For the first 18 months, he had very, very few followers and visits and things like that. But he kept at it, doing the Wine Library TV show every single day. 18 months, no one was watching. 9 years later, he still does these videos on a very regular basis. Now that is consistency. My last coach's name is Christine Kane. Christine charges $30,000 to work with her one-on-one for the year, and she has a multi-million-dollar coaching business. She used to be an indie rock musician. She had an email list for 15 years as a musician, and she built that over time. In 2006, she started her business blog, realizing her passion for building businesses. She has not missed posting any given week for the last 9 years. She's built her email list to over 45,000, but that's taken her 24 years to do it. Sure, when she launched her Uplevel Your Business Bootcamp, it was a huge overnight launch. I think she did somewhere around $700,000 to $800,000 on her launch. But it was a result of years and years of building a list, creating consistency, creating culture, and being incredibly patient. All right, so this is sort of my end of the presentation here. I always say, who will be brave and do a quick profile review? I want you to really sit back, and if you do have any questions, feel free to send them on over to me. You can hit me up on Twitter at @hprastansky, and I will spend some time kind of going through your questions. No matter when you're watching this, just sort of tweet them out to me. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, so be a little bit patient here, and I do promise that I will get back to you. But I do want you to go through your profile. I want you to take a really good, hard, solid look at how often am I posting about my business? Is the culture there? How can I use these 5 tips that I learned today to create a profile or social media that will really expand and blow up my business? It was a pleasure doing this training for you, and thank you so, so much for watching. I will see you all within the community. Bye.